What's up guys, Jonny May here from Piano with Jonny, and welcome to this week's quick tip where I'm going to teach you a super cool way that you can comp over the cycle of fifths progression using what are called upper structures and minor 11 chords. Let me show you what this sounds like. Now this chord progression is used in countless jazz standards like Fly Me to the Moon, Autumn Leaves, and All the Things You Are. And I'm basically going to walk you through and show you how you can add certain upper structures to your minor 7th chords and your dominant 7th chords to make them sound really, really beautiful. Now today's quick tip actually comes from my full-length course, 5 approaches for how to comp over the cycle of fifths progression. And at the end of today's quick tip, I'm going to give you guys a quick summary of what's inside the full-length course. So let's go ahead and get started. Approach number 1. What we're doing, guys, is we're building on the beginner intermediate lesson. If you did not attend the beginner intermediate lesson, and actually now you're looking at the beginner intermediate lesson, we actually built from the ground up. We started with root position chords, and we talked about 3s and 7s, and we talked about adding a 9th to your chord, and we talked about on dominant chords you can add your 13, and we talked about on major chords you can use the 6 as a substitute for the 7, and we're actually just building right where we left off. So we're actually building from here, okay? So just a little context. If you want to go watch that lesson, you guys can. It will be archived in the membership. But what we're going to do next, guys, is we're going to use this really beautiful technique called the upper structure technique to make some really, really beautiful chords. Specifically, we're going to get some lovely sounds out of our minor chords, getting an 11, okay, out of this chord, okay? So we're going for an upper structure sound to play some lovely chords. Let me play this for you guys and you'll really appreciate it, and I'll break down what I'm doing. Okay, woo, these are very colorful chords, okay? What am I doing on these chords? Okay, guys, an upper structure is basically where you take a chord. It could be a major 7, it could be a minor 7, or it could be a dominant 7th chord, and you basically play another major chord or minor chord on top of that chord, okay? And there's specific chords that you want to use. Not every major or minor chord will work on the top, okay? But on a A minor 7 chord, okay, an upper structure that you can use is a G major chord, okay? Meaning, if I have an A minor 7 chord, okay, if you take the 7th, which is G, and make a major chord out of it, a G major, you can use a G major on top of an A minor 7, and it sounds gorgeous. That's the first chord. And go ahead and play this with me, guys. I am playing a 10th in the left hand. I'm playing it for a reason, so you can see the G major chord in the right hand. This is the second inversion G major chord, okay? But you could put the C like that if you wanted to. That's fine if you just want to play the A and the E like that, okay? But what I'm doing here, guys, is I'm playing a straight A minor 7 in my left hand. It is a spread out A minor 7, root, 5th, and 3rd, but if you just condense the chord, those are the 3 notes that I'm playing. A, E, and A, C, and E. And then on the top of that, I'm playing a G major chord. And you get this gorgeous sound. This is called an A minor 11 chord, okay? And basically, an A minor 11 is an A minor 7th with a 9th and 11. These are all the notes from an A minor 11 chord, and I'm simply taking these notes and spreading them out. So I've got the root, the 5th, the 3rd, the 11, the 7, and the 9. Okay, really, really gorgeous harmony. If you want to play jazz piano and you don't know what to do with your minor 7 chords, this is what you do, is you turn it into an 11 chord, and you play a G major upper structure over an A minor chord. Now, I want to encourage all of you guys to write in your lesson sheet music. So what you can do is grab a pencil and just write the number of the chord next to the note. That would be a 1, that would be a 3, okay? Actually, there's no 5th in there. You can add the 5th. I played it. I didn't notate it for you guys, But if you want it, I'll put an arrow here so it's very crystal clear. This is the 5th, you can add it. And then on the top, this is the really beautiful part. This is the 11, this is the 7, and this is the 9. You guys get it? Okay, beautiful way of playing minor 11 or minor chords, okay? You could also do that. I like that better, okay? Next chord, D minor 11. It's the same concept here, guys. For this chord, I'm actually going to change it just a little bit, okay? I got the 11 in the chord here, but now I'm going to go for a slightly different upper structure sound. This is an F major chord on the top. And all I'm doing, guys, is I'm building an upper structure on the 3rd of the chord. D minor 7 has an F major contained within the chord. So this is kind of the sound. You want to hear that triad on the top, and then I add the 11 to the left hand, okay? The 11 on a D minor 7 is a G, and that's a really beautiful way of playing a D minor 7 chord, is to play the 11 down there. Do you guys see what I'm doing? So we have an upper structure up here, we have 11 down here. You would define this chord as root 3rd, 11, 7, 3, 5. And again, I encourage you guys to do this in your lesson sheet music. Go 1, 11, whoops, that's wrong, 1, 3, 11, 7, 3, 5. Okay, this is how I want you to think of chords. If you want to play jazz, jazz musicians think of chords in terms of numbers. Okay, it's all about relationships. Okay, everything relates back to the root of the chord, the 1. Okay, so you really need to understand your chords, and I always encourage my students who want to play jazz is to learn their extensions. Okay, because that's the 9, 11, and the 13. Hey, I hope you guys are enjoying the lesson, and just want to make a quick note that the lesson sheet music, which you're seeing here on the top left, is downloadable and printable for our members at Piano with Jonny. They can also download the backing track, which comes along with the course. So just want to let you guys know that. Now let's go ahead and get back in the lesson. Next chord, guys, beautiful G7 chord. We got the G, the F on the bottom. This is called a shell, root and 7, okay? Right hand is an E major triad, B, E, and G sharp, okay? You might be thinking, Jonny, why does that sound so cool? Why does that sound so jazzy? You're just playing an E major chord with a shell, root 7 in your left hand, and that's because I'm hitting some extensions. I've got the 13 here, and I've got the flat 9 here, okay? Real quick review on extensions and alterations. An extension, 9, 11, and 13 on the G7 chord. And then your alterations would be a flat 9, a sharp 9, a sharp 11, and a flat 13. Okay, those are called alterations. They're altered chords. 9, 11, 13, flat 9, sharp 11, flat 13. Okay, so this is a G7 with a 13, which is the E, and a flat 9, which is the A flat. That's why it's such a cool sounding chord. The chord is written here for you guys, G13, flat 9, and once again, I would write in your lesson sheet music 1, 7, 3, 13, flat 9. Okay? Really want to think this way. Next chord, C major 9 chord. I'm going for a G major triad on the top. Okay, I want that upper structure sound, and I've got the root and 3rd on the bottom. Fairly simple chord, 1, 3, 7, 9, and 5. Okay, you guys can write this in your lesson sheet music, 1, 3, 7, 9, and 5. Okay? All right, next chord, F major 7. I want that C triad on the top. Okay, this is built on the 5th of an F major 7, the C. Okay, I'm playing the 10th in the left hand so you can see the major triad in the right hand, but you could play the A here. That would be fine. You could finger it like this. Okay, again, think of these in terms of numbers: 1, 5, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, what did I say, 7, I'm not thinking of this the right one, 1, 5, 3, 5, 7, and 9, okay? Next one, B minor 7, I'm going for a D minor on the top, B and D on the bottom, root 3rd, 7, 3, and 5, okay? Again, you guys can write this, 1, 3, 7, 3, and 5, and just as a reminder, it's a flat 5, so I'll put that here. And then the final chord, couple chords. This is another gorgeous dominant chord using an upper structure, a D flat major on the top, and we have a root 7 shell on the bottom. This is root 7 third, 13, and flat 9. It's the same chord we had here on the G7, but now we're doing it on the E7. So that's another upper structure you can use. It sounds really cool, okay? Root 7 on the bottom, 1, 7, 3, flat, or 13, and flat 9, okay? It looks just like the chord here, okay? Again, if you guys have questions, you guys can save them for the end of the lesson. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have about harmony, why these chords work. But again, this is just kind of a general way that you can approach this progression using upper structures. And finally, A minor 7, okay? For this one, there is not really an upper structure. You could think of it like a C major over an A or an E minor over an A, okay? But the way I wrote it is like this. It's just an A minor 9th chord, okay? This is a A minor 7 with a 9th added, okay? If you want to think of this chord, it's a root 7, 9, 3, and 5, okay? If you wanted an upper structure sound, you could go back to this, jump back there, okay? The reason I used the lower one is because it leads, you know, it's coming from here. I think that sounds better as in terms of a leading chord. All right, guys? So this is approach number 1, upper structure and minor 11 chords, and really cool sounds. By the way, welcome Ben Coop to the live workshop. It's great to have you. Alejandro, I'll answer your question, Alejandro, but I will pro at the end of the lesson. Walter Sabolo, welcome to the live workshop. And Victor from Aruba, good to have you guys. I'll answer any of your questions at the end. If you guys have questions, go ahead and comment now, and then we'll answer them later. If you guys want to practice this, it's really fun with a backing track. I would start just trying to get it at tempo, like about here. By the way, you can slide this E. You guys see what I'm doing? It's like start here and go up there. Okay, really sounds cool. Definitely a sophisticated sound. If you're playing this stuff, definitely sounding like a pro, okay? What you want to do is try it with a backing track, okay? So I'm going to play it with a backing track. Again, you guys can practice this later when it's in our road. It'll be, actually, this will be inside of our roadmap, in the jazz swing roadmap. So you guys can practice this as much as you want. But let's do it with a track. Do your best and play along with me. Here we go. Want to play around with the rhythms. That's going to be huge for this. Okay? That is the upper structure, minor 11th chord sound. All right, guys, this concludes this week's quick tip. Did you enjoy the lesson? If you did, I want to give you a quick summary of what's inside the full-length course. All right, in lesson number 1, I'm going to be teaching you guys the chords. And these are actually very simple chords. They're all in root position. They're all white notes. And then after I teach you the chords, we're going to do a quick analysis and talk about this progression. In lesson number 2, I'm going to teach you 4 different groove options. And if you're playing with a band, if you're comping, you want to be able to play different grooves. So I'm going to teach you 4 of my favorite grooves. In lesson number 3, I'm going to teach you how to take these chords and make them sound beautiful with upper structures and minor 11 chords. And this is where you can basically take a straight minor chord and you add some beautiful colors. We call these upper structures. I'm going to teach you all of the upper structures, and then, like I said, these minor 11 chords, which sound gorgeous. In lesson number 4, I'm going to teach you beautiful quartal voicings. And a quartal voicing is when you break the chord up into 4th intervals. And it has this really cool kind of jazzy sound to it. It sounds really cool when you play it with a backing track. So I'm going to teach you exactly how I play these quartal voicings. In lesson number 5, I'm going to teach you how to use altered dominance. And this is really important if you want to sound like a pro pianist. When you get to these chords, you know, you can use even cooler sounding dominant chords. Check this one out. Really cool sound. In lesson number 6, I'm going to teach you beautiful rootless voicings. And these are really important chords if you want to sound like a pro. Okay, these left-hand chords, they're rootless voicings. And I'm going to teach you exactly how these chords work over this chord progression. Finally, in lesson number 7, I'm going to teach you the big band style, or what I call the shout chorus style. It's a really big sound you can play. Let me show you what this sounds like. If you're playing in a larger ensemble and you want that kind of big piano sound, I'm going to show you exactly how to achieve this sound. So obviously there is a ton to learn in the full-length course, and we also have a beginner intermediate version, so you can check that one out as well. Lastly, I want to encourage you to check out the membership at Piano with Jonny. Our members get unlimited access to our entire catalog of video lessons, currently over 400 lessons, over 250 hours of piano instruction in these styles that you love, like jazz, blues, boogie woogie, pop, rock, theory, improvisation. We cover jazz ballads, we cover swing music, and it's just a ton of fun. Our members also get to participate in our live monthly events, and every month we do a live Q&A, we do a live workshop lesson, we do weekly challenges for our members, we have ear training, and it's just a great learning platform. So be sure to check out our other courses in the Piano with Jonny membership. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.